Robots. Many feel they are indeed our future, including some fearing that they could indeed take over the world given enough time to build them up right, and the intelligence to make it all go boom. And yes, we all acknowledge that Judgment Day is inevitable. But for now, we're going to have to make do with ones we know are out there and the ones that are helping out many. The military, for example, has a variety of intelligence robots that they're developing both for the field and being able to use in the field right now. Allow us to show you some of them. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 7. Mars. First up, we have the Mars, which stands for Modular Advanced Armed Robotic System. This may not look like the biggest and baddest robot out there, but don't let its size fool you. It's modular kind of robot, meaning that it's one that can go and be outfitted for various kinds of armaments and thus be used tactically for various reasons. For example, it can be outfitted with lasers so that it can be used to blind opponents and thus leave them open to attack without having to resort to massive violence. Or should the need arise, it can be outfitted with a grenade launcher that can fire tear gas into enemy positions and camps and further disrupt their actions. And should the worst be needed, it can indeed be put with guns to help ensure either a distraction or a target getting taken down without harming your own soldiers. So it may not be the biggest thing out there, but it's definitely enough to get the job done. Number 6. Dogo. One of the biggest reasons for having various kinds of robots is to not intimidate the enemy, but rather to catch them off guard in a way that they'll never see coming, and then never be prepared for. Which the Dogo is a great example of that, because at first glance there is nothing intimidating about this robot. Might even mistake it for a child's toy because its size, construction, and more. But in truth, it's a secret weapon of Special Forces units because it's small enough to get into places undetected, not cause a lot of noise, then when the time comes to act, it'll pull out its Glock. No, really. This robot that looks like a toy has a secret gun within it, which in one training video is shown to take out a kidnapper without the other operatives getting hurt. So again, size doesn't matter, and as any military commander worth his salt will tell you, sometimes it's better to go in stealthy than to go in loud. Number 5. Saphir. At this point, you might think that the military is only interested in robots that are offensive and thus can help soldiers on the battlefield. But in truth, there are just as many uses for robots in a support capacity than you may realize. For example, the robot known as Saphir. This is a robot that's being developed for the Navy, and it stands for Shipboard Autonomous Firefighting Robot, which may sound violent via a gun battle is known as a firefight. This one is the more literal interpretation, meaning that it's about putting out fires on ships when they happen in battles. This would free up the crew to do other damage control while the robot, who won't be able to get burned, can put out the fires. This is a perfect example of using robots for a support purpose and still saving lives in the process. It's still in development, but the Navy would be very lucky to have this robot. Number 4. Guardbot. There are various ways for a robot to be used in the battlefield, as we've shown. But a part of the battle that isn't always talked about in public is recon. The finding of information about enemy locations, groups, armaments, and more are vital for tactical purposes. Enter the Guardbot, a spherical robot that was built to do recon across all manners of terrain. In fact, it was originally built to be used for recon on Mars, but it's going to be on Earth for a while. Because of how it's designed, it's incredibly hard for it to go and get stuck in terrain that would trip up other robots. Plus, it has high-definition cameras that'll help give soldiers a picture of what's going on in an area. Plus, because it's so small, it won't go and attract attention unless you're looking right at it. This can help out many in the field by making them know exactly what they're getting into before they rush in. Number 3. Gladiator. Oh, wait, wrong Gladiator. Our bad. The robot, known as Gladiator, is meant to be an assistant to the Marines in battle. To that extent, it looks and is built to be basically a small tank. But instead of a long barrel shooting rounds, it can be outfitted with all sorts of guns and grenade launchers to help facilitate duties and get stuff done. Now, on one hand, it's only able to go about 10 miles per hour, but given its rugged exterior and the versatility of its armaments, the Marines can use this for various purposes and help change the game if necessary. Number 2, Anbot. It almost shouldn't be too much of a surprise that there is a robot in China that's meant to patrol and protect people. It's called the Anbot. This robot is indeed a patrol robot that goes and examines open areas of people and will try and detect danger when it presents itself. It's even stated to have a riot control tool should things get messy, and with a top speed of 11 miles per hour, it can keep up with people without getting tired. Given how China feels about its population at times, we're not too surprised that they're taking this route. Number 1, Robo-Bee. In various spy films and sci-fi movies, you've heard of certain robots being a fly on the wall in order to overhear things from enemy forces and such without being detected. Well, guess what? That kind of robot is being developed right now. It's called the Robo-Bee, and it does indeed function like you'd expect. Ironically, it's being developed by the Harvard Microbiotics Laboratory, and should this work, it also help with the declining bee population to help ensure that plants are pollinated. Though hopefully it'll never have to be tested out for that. There you go, everyone. A look at the military and the various robots that they're aiming to use and try. Take more control of the battlefield as well as keeping soldiers safe and out of harm's way. Were you surprised by any of the robots presented here today? Which ones do you think are the most creative in terms of use and purpose? Do you think that the military will try and go even bigger with them over time? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.